Hey guys, happy Thanksgiving. So I just wanted to encourage some of you today. Because Thanksgiving can be a time where you want everything to be perfect, but then it seems every single time nothing's perfect. So then we can have the temptation to just get all mad or be contemptible at the circumstances of our day because things aren't as we planned it. So with this as the context of my own morning, almost, having the temptation to have that attitude, I went into Oswald Chambers' My Utmost for His Highest, today's message, and it was quite an interesting one, November 23rd in that book. It was a verse that you would not really think as a Thanksgiving verse, but I think actually really applies to a common attitude that we have the temptation to have. Psalm 123 verse 3, it says, "Have mercy upon us, O Lord, have mercy upon us, for we are exceedingly filled with contempt." How often are we exceedingly filled with contempt? Boy, that's not the typical, give thanks to the Lord. That's like a rebuke of yourself. Like, I am exceedingly filled with contempt. So change me, Lord. Help me, Lord. Have mercy upon me. And through this devotional, November 23rd, Oswald Chambers says, there are certain tempers of mind in which we never dare indulge. If we do, we find they have distracted us from faith in God. And until we get back to quiet mood before God, our faith in Him is nil, and our confidence in the flesh and in human ingenuity is the thing that rules. I want to challenge you and myself as I speak right now. Are you going to let your confidence in the flesh and confidence in human ingenuity rule today? Or are you going to let the peace of Christ rule in your heart today? Colossians 3 verse 15. It's one of my favorite verses. It says, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you are called to peace, and be thankful." See, there's something that's connecting this idea of peace and thankfulness. When we have peace, then a natural outpouring is thankfulness. And when we are thankful, then a natural outpouring of that is more peace, and so on and so forth. There's a connection with peace that allows us to be thankful on this day, specifically with Thanksgiving, when we want everything to be perfect, when oftentimes nothing ends up being perfect. There are family issues, you name it. We all have our own family issues. Let's be real. So, are we going to let the peace of Christ rule in our hearts? Or are we going to let the confidence in the flesh and in human ingenuity rule in our heart today? And this statement from Oswald Chambers made me think of the verse, and the reference escapes me at the moment. I think it's Matthew 11, 19 through 20, something like that. But it says, and this is Jesus talking to a crowd, and He says, "Put my yoke upon you and learn from me. Then you will find rest for your souls." Are we going to put His yoke upon us today? Are we going to learn from Him today? Letting the peace of Christ rule in our hearts, since as members of one body we were called to peace, and be thankful. So the conclusion of the matter, how can this actually happen? How can this actually practically work and happen in my life today? The answer, I believe, is found in Philippians 2. I forget which verse. I regret to say I forget the verse, but it's something 12 or 14, and it says this: "For it is God who works in you to will and to act according to his good purpose." So if you end up acting, willing and acting and according to his good purpose today, then you can go back and thank God for working in and through you today. Today is a day of thankfulness, on one of the hardest days, ironically, to be thankful. So let us be thankful today. By the power of the Holy Spirit, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Take his yoke upon you, learn from him, and you will find rest for your souls. Hope you have a blessed day by the power of the Holy Spirit.